Good afternoon. Hola. My name is Dino Delano, and I'm going to discuss with you here and share with you my experience with that energy which is called Kundalini. Back in 1977, 78, I had an experience with an opening of this force. And we'll touch on some of the experiences, some of the things that I felt, some of the phenomena, and where it has brought me to this period of time, because it's been about 40 years. Back in 1980, I wrote a book about the experience, which was sold internationally, which is called A Seeker's Journal. In fact, I've just republished the book, and it is available on my website, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Okay? All right, let's go back to the early years and some of the phenomena, because it is a phenomenal experience. It comes out of the blue, so to speak. It's not something that you expect. At least it wasn't something that I expected. In the early stages, I would sometimes wake up with a burning under my eyes. What I think probably became most aware of at first was hot spots in various parts of my body, and the energy seemed to be moving. The heat was moving in different areas. I would get a ringing in my ears. And I would also sometimes get a flow of energy coming up my spine, and as though it were bathing my brain. Very beautiful feelings. Now, there were also some very scary feelings. Fears of that I was going crazy. Probably minor for me, because I had some sense of what was going on because of my work. I had done a lot of work in the human potential field. I was director of a center which was called the Center for Mind Ecology back in California. And this experience transformed me over a period of time. Now let's first of all touch on, though, a little bit of what Kundalini is not. Because in talking with a lot of people over the years and interviewing some people that have also had this experience, seeing some of the comments and questions that come up on the internet, I realize that oftentimes when people experience this and they're having this phenomenal experience, that they start looking for a framework to fit it into. And that's pretty natural, that's pretty normal. People sometimes begin to think that they're becoming another guru, or a Jesus Christ, or maybe I'm a Buddha, and so forth. Really, it's not any of that. It would probably be better said that this energy is a unifying field of force. It is a unifying field of intelligence. And that unifying field of intelligence unifies us, brings us into one with life. That's why it's called cosmic consciousness. That term can have some very strange value to it. It's like, oh my God, cosmic consciousness. Well, it's actually quite simple. Conscious of being part of the cosmos. Conscious of being part of all that is. Now, conscious of it is very different than believing that. For instance, a lot of people believe in a life after death, but they're scared shit of dying. So in other words, their belief and the reality of how they feel, their emotions, are worlds apart. The unifying energy that we're talking about here brings things together so that we feel connected. Back in the late 50s, I was in the military, and I was stationed in Mobile, Alabama. And of course, in those days, there were 2 water fountains, 4 bathrooms. The blacks rode on the back of the bus. The people in the South had had a conditioning. They had had a teaching. They had had a download, so to speak, into the subconscious mind from the time that they were children, that blacks were lesser, that they were better than them, that in fact, in that sense, the black people were other. And of course, they treated them like another. Those kinds of beliefs oftentimes, and many, many others, are what gets in the way of this vitalizing force, this unifying force. Because people call and they say, I've had this terrible burning sensation and I feel like I'm going crazy, and all of these kinds of things that are going on. What is happening essentially is that the individual, because of their belief systems, the ideas that they have grown up with, the conditioning that they have gotten, they are blocking that energy. There are things like yoga, the 5 Tibetans, which you can pull up on the internet, on YouTube. Tai Chi is another good one. These movements, which are very dance-like in some way, will help you to unify and allow this energy to flow through you. No, you're not going crazy. In fact, it would probably be better said that you are going sane if you've had this experience. Here's a good metaphor. A blue whale in the Sea of Cortez spouted and exhausted his breath, and I took it in. An old man in Anchorage, Alaska died and expelled his last, and you took a breath. A person down in South America ran, breathing heavy, exhausting, giving breath outward. A brand new baby in India, born, took that breath. There is only one breath. There is only one sky, and so on. In other words, when we look at varying kinds of metaphors like that, those metaphors can unite us. Those ideas can help that energy to bring us into a unified field force of life. And it changes you. It changed me. Changed my perspective. Because if we see, know, not think, not believe, but know that we are a part of the earth, a part of the cosmos, then we become environmentalists, so to speak. We take care of our own backyard rather than shitting in it in the way that we have been doing. All right, I'm going to put up a series of videos on YouTube that will discuss this energy in varying forms and in various ways as we go along. Also, as I said, you can pick up this book. There are other books out there also. There is Gopi Krishna's book on Kundalini. He had a very horrific experience, though, with it. That is not the norm. In most instances, it is much gentler. Maurice Buck's book on cosmic consciousness. Franklin Marihill Wolf. You can pull up some of his books on the internet. These things will give you a sense of this force and this vitalizing energy. Again, you can go onto my website, which is Cool Zen Healing. And if you have any questions, email me. I'll do my best to get back to you as much as I can. All right? I've enjoyed being here with you this afternoon, and we'll see you again. Thank you.